Hey folks, this is Joel Libman. I'm an academic coach here at Portland State University in the Learning Center, and I'm going to be doing a tutorial today on how to make a Discord server for one of your classes. This is such an easy process, and I think everybody can benefit from being a part of or creating one of these servers. So without further ado, let's get started. So first things first, what is a Discord server? Well, it's essentially a big group chat that is separated into sections. Those sections make it really easy to organize information and to have separate spots to talk about separate things. It's a really useful program, and I think you'll like it too. So here's just a little rundown of this particular server. This is going to be important to you because this server is being used as the template base for the server that you will be creating. There will be a link in the description of this video that you can use to create a server just like this one. So let me just go through all of these sections here on the left. These sections are called channels. The top one is info and roles. This is where I like to put all the information about the server, as well as just a few rules. And then I also like to put a little role selector beneath this, which is something I'll go over with you in just a bit. This section here is the announcements section. I like to use this just to say anything important about the server itself. I also let other students that join me in these servers use this space to announce anything that they find important. There's this notes and resources section. People can put notes here or resources for class discussions or anything like that in here. This is the class discussion section. This is going to be the main part of your server. People are going to be able to use this to talk about class, to talk about homework, to help each other out figuring out when assignments are due, what needs to be done, things like that. Off topic is going to be sort of the space for more fun discussions or any other discussion that isn't directly related to the class. Down here are your voice channels, as well as something called no mic. So a no mic channel is used for anybody who's hanging out in the voice channels that doesn't necessarily want to use their voice to speak. They can type in here, and those in the voice channels can read that text and know what they're trying to say. Voice channels are very simple to join. All you have to do is click them. These are spaces very much like a Zoom room or a group call or anything like that. You just join them, you're in them, and you can talk to your fellow students. Very useful. These are group workspaces. You might not find a use for these, but I've made them. They can be helpful, especially if your professor assigns groups. You can use these spaces to talk with your group mates without having to make group chats or anything like that. Especially useful if you have some people in your group with iPhones and some people with Androids. You know, those blue texts versus green texts can get a little difficult to deal with, so using a Discord server instead might eliminate some of that confusion. These are just some more voice channels for the groups, and then this is a moderator-only channel that only you can see, as well as any other moderators you appoint, and that's something I'll talk about a bit later as well. So let's get started on actually making a server of your own. So there are two ways to do this. One of them is making a server from scratch. You can do that by clicking this little plus button. It's going to bring up a prompt, and you can pick any one of these, and it might have some nice templates that you can start with. But for the purposes of today's tutorial, I'm going to be using a template that I already created, which I will provide to you as well in the description of this video and hopefully somewhere else on the Learning Center website. All you have to do is click on that template link, and I'm going to click on that right now. I've got it open in another window. And it will open this in your Discord window. So this is where you create the server. It just has some information about what that template contains. And you can also make a picture or upload a picture for the server. All you have to do is click on that. I'm going to use a little picture of a smiley face because I've got it right here. And that's nice. And then you can name it whatever you want. So say, for example, it was for Psychology 101. You could call it Sci 101, maybe the section, so let's say it's section 5, with professor name, so Professor Joel. And then hit create. So now you have a Discord server. It is really that simple. but there is a lot of setup that you can do with the server to make sure that it serves you as well as possible, and I'm going to go over that now. So the first thing you'll probably want to do is to populate the info and roles channel, which is right here. I have it selected, and that's what's showing right here. You're going to notice that there are some icons here that are directing you to do some setup stuff, like inviting friends, sending messages, blah, blah, blah. You can feel free to ignore all of that stuff. That's going to stick around and annoy you for a while, but it's not important. I'm going to teach you how to do all of this stuff, and you won't need to worry about that menu. So I will be providing a template for an info and rules message that you can send in this channel. I'm going to paste that in right now. Only you and any moderators that you appoint for your server are going to be able to type in this channel and send any messages in this channel. So you won't need to worry about this channel filling up with other people's messages. It's just for you and for others to read. So this is that little info and rules message that I mentioned. It gets a little finicky sometimes when you try to paste in messages like this. So we're going to want to make sure to go through and check and see if everything is working correctly. So under channel list, you're going to want to make sure that all of these channels are glowing blue. As you can see, not all of them are. So what you can do to fix that is just delete that, then type in the actual name of the channel. Info and roles is going to be this first one, so just type a hashtag first. It'll bring up a list. You can press info and roles, and bam, that's done. You can delete any extra spaces, and then move on. Class discussion and off topic aren't working either, so I'm going to go ahead and fix that really quickly. Alright, so now those are all glowing blue. Looks nice. You'll see all these extra symbols around the headers. These are underscores and asterisks. The reason I've included those is because those are text modifiers. When you put those in a Discord message, they make things bold, or they make things underlined, and stuff like that. So that's just for formatting, for making things easier to look at and easier to see. Down at the bottom here, I have a section for an invite link with some big old text that says paste invite link here. The reason I've included that is because that's what I want you to do. So up top, next to your server name, you're going to see this little caret pointing down. To make an invite link for your server, all you have to do is click on that, press invite people, and then this part is super, super, super important. You got to make sure to press that little checkbox right there. Set this link to never expire. If you don't do that, then your link will only work for 1 week. If you do that, you have a link that works forever. So once you do that, go ahead and hit copy right here. It'll say copied. You can press this X, delete this text, and paste in the invite link. When you're ready, you can hit enter, and that will send the message. As you can see, it's glowing yellow right here. The reason it's doing that is because of this little thing right here. This is called a ping. Anything that has an @ before it is going to be a ping. That sends a notification to certain people. You can choose to notify a person individually. So if I typed in @ and then I typed in my own name, Learning Center, shows up here. If I send that message, it's going to glow yellow only for Learning Center. That's me. I'm Learning Center today. If you type something like @everyone, then everybody is going to get that notification. So you want to make sure to do that very sparingly, because some people can get frustrated if they have a bunch of messages coming from Discord. So be sure to use that sparingly, but it can be a good way to get people's attention. Anyway, this is the info and rules channel. Everything is working. Here's that invite link that others can copy and send to friends. Here are 3 rules. They are very simple. I've tried to keep them as simple as possible. If you feel that you need to include more rules, that is totally fine. And you can actually totally scrap this message as well and make your own. Whatever works for you. I just like to use this because I feel like it's descriptive, it's concise, and it gets the job done. So now let's talk a little bit about server customization. You might find that your server doesn't need any group spaces, or maybe you need some extra channels, like maybe you want to make a space that people can plan meetups, or things like that. So let's talk about how to add and delete channels. So deleting channels is simple. All you have to do is press that little Edit Channel button, and then hit Delete Channel right there. That's going to get rid of that channel. You'll see it disappear, and it'll be out of your way. But let's say you needed a new channel, so maybe the class you're in has 7 groups instead of 6. All you have to do is press up here on that Create Channel button, and then type in a name for the channel. I'm going to call this one Group 7. You'll notice there's a little dash here. That's what happens when you try to put a space in a channel name. It is not possible unless it's a voice channel. It's going to show up as a dash. That's totally fine. Go ahead and hit Create Channel. Make sure that Private Channel is not checked. And bam! Just like that, there's another text channel for people to use. Let's say if you wanted to make a voice channel to go along with that text channel, all you'd have to do is press that Create Channel button, and then select right here, Voice. Voice channels can have spaces in them. So I'm going to call this one Group 7 VC. VC stands for Voice Channel or Voice Chat. Then again, make sure that this is not checked and hit Create Channel. And there it is. Right there, your brand new voice channel. Easy peasy. I'm going to delete those because we don't need that many. Perfect. Now, if you do decide to change any of these channels or add any new ones, you're probably going to want to add more information or remove some information from your Info and Rules post here in the Info and Roles channel. So to do that, all you have to do is go up top here and click on that little pencil icon. That'll open up the editing mode, and then you can do whatever you'd like. So earlier I noticed I added one too many spaces here. So I'm going to go ahead and delete one of those spaces, and then hit Save. You'll see that the change is made, and this thing at the bottom will appear that says Edited. Everybody will be able to see that you have edited a message if you do, but most people probably won't care. So let's talk a little bit about roles and how to assign roles. So you can assign roles to users to change their permissions. What a role is it's basically a rank or a title. Permissions are just like they sound. They are abilities within the server. So as the server owner, you automatically have all the permissions. You can delete channels, add channels, type in restricted channels, see moderator-only channels, and private channels, and things like that. But other users might not be able to do that. If you want to make another user into a moderator, all you have to do is find their name. So this is me. I'm going to practice on myself. You can click on their name, go down here where it says No Roles, and hit that plus. Then you can select a role for them. So for myself, I'm going to go ahead and add this gear icon. This is a very, very important role. This is your moderator role. It's the gear icon. Do not give that role to anybody that you don't trust or to anybody that you haven't discussed it with beforehand. You're only going to want to add that gear icon to people that you want to help you run the server. So try to be sparing with who you hand that role out to. But I trust myself, so I'm going to go ahead and add that gear icon. Anybody with the gear icon has all the permissions on the server. These are group roles that I've created. If somebody wants to be in any one of these group roles, all they would have to do is ask or use a group selector or role selector, which I will go over a little bit later. It's a little bit more of an advanced technique, but you can feel free to just do it manually, which is easier. So, say a learning center here wanted to be in group 3. All you'd have to do is press group 3, and there it is. Now they have the group 3 role. You'll also notice something else changed, which is up here. It says group 3. The reason for that is because I've made it so that group members, depending on their group, are displayed separately in the sidebar. So if you're in group 1 instead, it'll say that you're in group 1. And if there were other users online that were in a different group, like maybe somebody was in group 4, there would be a separate header that said group 4, and then their name would be displayed underneath it. But I'm just going to go ahead and remove that for now. I also have another type of role that I've created for these servers. These are color roles, and these have no real purpose other than to be fun. If somebody wants their name to be a different color, they can ask you for one of these roles, and you can assign it to them. So, since this is the Learning Center, and the Learning Center is purple themed, we're going to go ahead and pick purple. And as you can see, now my name is purple. And any place I type on the server, my name is going to be purple. That's just for fun. I'll delete that. You can see that my name goes back to white. There is one more role I want to mention, which is the bot role. This is only for bots that you invite to your server. Bots are a little bit more of an advanced Discord feature, which I'm just going to go over a little bit later. You might find a use to invite some bots into your server, but if you don't have any bots, nobody should be getting this role, even if you suspect them of being a robot. This is an admin role, and it's only for bots, so make sure not to give that to any humans. So one really useful thing about roles is you can actually ping roles, just like you can ping individual people. So I've reassigned myself some roles here. I've put myself in group 1, and I've also picked that pretty purple name. So, say for example, I had 5 other people in group 1, and I wanted to get all of their attention at the same time. Well, I would head over to my little group 1 chat space, and I would type in @ to begin a ping, and then I would type in group 1. I've set up the group roles so that anybody can ping them. It's useful for groups, so I figured it might be useful for you. So all you have to do is type that, hit enter, and everybody is going to get a notification on their phone or computer, at least everybody in group 1, and it'll show a little red icon next to the channel as well, so that they can head over here and see what you wanted to get their attention for. There might come a point where somebody is being disrespectful or rude in your server, and you need to kick or ban them in order to protect your server. In order to do this, you'll need to find the disrespectful player, right-click their name, and then either kick or ban them from the server. To kick somebody from the server removes them temporarily, and to ban them gets them off the server permanently until you unban them. Let's say that saying I don't like you is an offense great enough for a ban, and let's go ahead and do that. Hit ban. You'll notice that the name is different here than it is here. Ignore that. Sometimes people have different pseudonyms than their actual usernames. The username will always be reflected in this menu, but the pseudonym is what will appear in the server. So right-click, click ban. Enjoy this little GIF here. Select breaking server rules, or whatever else you need to ban the user for. You can select whether or not you want to delete their messages. and then hit ban. You'll notice that Topher is no longer in the server, and his message has disappeared as well. So long, Topher. If, for whatever reason, I decided I was a little too tough on my friend Topher, I can choose to unban him. The way I would do this is by going up to this little caret, clicking that, pressing Server Settings, scrolling down here to Bans, selecting that, find Topher's username, which is Bird Comedy, and press Revoke Ban. Topher would now be able to return if I sent him another invitation. You can also disconnect people from voice chats or mute them if they're being disrespectful to you or other players. So this is my friend Topher. Usually he's a pretty nice guy, but today he's being a little rude.
We're not friends. What are you talking about? You call this a tutorial? You silly, silly man.
Topher, that wasn't very nice. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect you from the voice chat.
No.
So what I do to do that is I go ahead and right-click on Topher's face here. I go down, and I press this button here that says Disconnect.
Be nicer next time.
So long, Topher. You'll hear that noise, and Topher's gone. Another way you can stop a player from being mean in voice chats or doing other things they shouldn't is by muting them. You can do this by right-clicking on them, going down to Server Mute, selecting that, and then clicking out of the menu. When a user is server muted, they will not be able to talk in voice chats. So once you've decided that they don't need to be muted anymore, you can right-click them again and deselect server mute. Now there are a few more advanced things that you can do to make your server even better, but at this point your server is fully functional, and the only thing you have to do now is invite other students. So let's go over how to do that using Canvas. So go ahead and open your favorite web browser and head on over to Canvas. You're going to see in the left side here that there is an inbox button right there. Go ahead and click that, and you're going to want to compose a new message to the students in your class. All you have to do is click this button up top, compose new message. Select the course that you made the Discord server for. We're going to do the Online plus Remote Readiness course. This is another service we offer here at the Learning Center, which you can check out on the website. And then you're going to want to select who to send it to. So down here, click this field, and you're going to see two options, teachers and students. I strongly recommend that you make your Discord server for students only. The reason for this is because it makes everybody feel a lot more comfortable to be themselves, to ask questions, and generally just to make community. So go ahead and select students. And then here is the hardest part of making a server. You're going to have to click every student's name, one by one. Hopefully, there aren't too many students in your class. But as far as I know, that is the only way to make sure that everybody is invited. Once you've typed everybody's name in, you're going to want to give this message a subject. So I'm going to call it Psych 101 Class Discord. And then you're going to want to give it a body as well. So I have a little template here that I'm going to provide you with as well. It'll be in the video description. So this is that template. It's very useful. It tends to work. All you have to do is fill in the empty fields. So, hi, my name is Joel. Let's put the class number, title, and section. So, Psych 101 005. You can say Intro to Psych, or whatever you want to put there. and then the name of the professor. So let's go with Dr. Libman. Then at the bottom here, and this is the most important part, make sure to paste your invite link. Now, if you'll remember, we actually already made an invite link earlier. It's going to be here at the bottom in your info enrolls channel in Discord. So go ahead and copy that, or make a new one if you haven't already, which is up here. Remember to make it permanent. Then go ahead and paste it. And once that's all ready, read over your message, make sure that everything is all filled out. Make sure that you've selected all the students in your class, and then hit send. And that's that. Now, if you've made it this far, congratulations. You now have a fully functional Discord server that you and your classmates can use for talking, for voice chats, for studying, for everything. It's a great place to make a community. But we don't have to stop there. I've mentioned a few times some of the more advanced techniques and features of Discord, and I'm going to go over just a couple of those so that you can use Discord to its fullest potential. So let's go over some more advanced stuff now.